Hey everybody, this is Killing the Cabal. I'm back with another video, and this is going to be centered around ancient Egyptian culture that's used in the music industry and also in Hollywood by famous musicians and actors, actresses, and also in fashion. I don't have a lot of information about or images to show you on the fashion industry. It's more the music industry, and it's kind of centered around a group of about 4 or 5 women that use the Egyptian culture a lot in their performances. So in their music videos and their performances, whether it's like an award show or the Super Bowl show, so there's a lot of use. A lot of these women use that Egyptian culture. And there's actually a link between Egyptian culture and Freemasonry. So I'm just going to say this really quick about that. So with the initiation rituals, there are initiation rituals that were performed in ancient Egypt. And the same ones are used in these new mystery schools and in Freemasonry. So there's a link between the Egyptian metaphysical tradition and modern mystery schools. And there's an ancient Egyptian history author. His name is Alphonse Mariette. And I just want to read this quote that he has said. He said, "To the initiated of the sanctuary, no doubt was reserved the knowledge of the God in the abstract, the God concealed in the unfathomable depths of his own essence. But for the less refined adoration of these people were presented the endless images of deities sculpted on the walls of temples." And then that's the end of that quote. And I just want to say the very same is said about Freemasonry. So, it is Freemasonry's aim to educate an initiate on the God concealed in the depths of his or her own essence, represented by the letter G in the middle of the square and compass, symbolizing the divine spark within the God essence of oneself. So there is a correlation between ancient Egypt and Freemasonry. And these women have been initiated into, some people call it the Illuminati, some people call it now the Cabal, and also Freemasonry. There's a lot of different factions. So it's not like everyone in Hollywood or in the music industry all belong to the same faction. They don't all belong to the same kind of club. They're all a bunch of different little ones. Just like when you look up Freemasonry, you have the Shriners, and then you have all of these other factions. There's different factions in Hollywood and in the music industry too. So a lot of the women in the music industry run in the same circles, and of course they're friends with women in Hollywood too, and the actresses and the actors, but they pretty much just kind of run in the same circles and do kind of like the same thing. So that's why you see, a lot of these women, they have kind of like, I would say, copycat performances where you have, like, let's look at Nicki Minaj here. And there's a lot going on in this particular photo. It's not just ancient Egyptian culture, but you have a little bit of that, and then you have a little bit of that and other things in Madonna's Super Bowl halftime show performance. So you can see all the Egyptian symbols on this throne that she's standing on. So there's a lot of symbolism that they use, and of course that symbolism, it means a lot of different things. And so the one thing I want to bring up is the Ankh. That's the first thing I want to talk about, and I'm gonna just show you guys. So the Ankh necklace, this is a picture of Iggy Azalea. She actually posted this photo, and I think on Instagram, and got a lot of flack because a lot of people were upset that it was viewed as cultural appropriation. So a lot of people were very upset about this and thought it was inappropriate. But past that, beyond that, she's a part of this club now, and there's a reason why I think she is not popular anymore. She is not, you don't see her on the radio, or you don't see her on TV, you don't hear her on the radio anymore as much. She was really popular for a while there. And I think that there are certain things that when you get into the music industry, you have to do to get in. So, in the very beginning stages of your career in the music industry, and this is not inside knowledge, I have no idea. This is just my observation based on what other people have said, what other singers, songwriters, actresses, music producers, all, just little bits and pieces that I've heard and read and gathered, So, this is just my observation and kind of I want to go through my train of thoughts on how I see all of this going down. So it's my opinion that when you get involved in the music industry in the very beginning, you start the initiation process. And for actresses, you hear about all these horrible things in the Me Too movement with when you go in for a casting call, you might be asked to do favors for people, sexual favors. I don't think the music industry is any different. I don't see why it would be. I don't have any reason to believe that it would be. I think it's probably actually a lot worse. Not to downplay what's going on in the movie industry, because that's horrible too. But, with the music industry, you have particular artists that are really propped up and famous, and they seem to just get more and more famous as time goes by, and they're given every opportunity to work with other really famous artists, and they just seem to really thrive after a certain period of time. And you'll notice a trend of artists that come out that are, they're a one-hit wonder, and then they go away. And yes, sometimes I think it has to do with just, they weren't able to produce anything else after that. But if you look at someone like Iggy Azalea, who, I'm not into her music that much. I mean, it's okay, and I recognize that she has some talent. But if you look at someone like Iggy Azalea, when she first got started and she came out with her really popular songs in the very beginning, people just loved her. And where is she now? I don't know. I don't hear her songs on the radio anymore. So it's not that she's stopped creating music. It's not that she's, not as good as she was before. I'm sure she's just as talented. I'm sure she can come up with great songs again. I really think that there's a reason for that. And I think there's a reason for that with a lot of other artists too. So here you see her with this Ankh necklace, and the Ankh it represents a lot of different things. And you can actually look up, all the symbolism and what it means. But, I'm only making, I'm only guessing at this, but I'm making kind of like an educated, guess on what's going on with this. But I really think that sometimes these women get into this industry thinking that all they have to do is, a sexual favor or, just little things here and there to get ahead in the very beginning, and then that's going to be it, and then it's all going to be, smooth sailing from there. But I think what happens is, once you're in and you get in, I think it's just downhill from there. I think that, and with the initiations, it could be the very beginning, you do that favor, and then, the next step is to do something slightly worse. Like maybe you're going to be used and abused by a bunch of people, and then the next step it's something worse, and then it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So, I really think that with women like Katy Perry, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, Beyonce, I really do think that they are at the top of the top of the top. I'm not saying that they're not talented and that they don't deserve what they have because they're not, they're not working hard. I'm sure they're working very hard, but they're working for and with the wrong people and doing things that, in my opinion, are pretty nasty. I mean, look at Beyonce's drummer coming out and claiming that she's a witch. You know, this is a woman that was in the music industry for a number of years. Her drummer. She was very talented. She did really well for herself and was very well liked by a lot of people, and she still is, I'm sure. And here she is accusing Beyonce of extreme witchcraft. There's something to that, you know? So when someone's doing nasty things like cursing someone, and, you know, getting into all that, then you have other rappers that are, who Azalea Banks, she's into witchcraft and she's admitted that. You know, so, you know, she sacrificed chickens. There was that whole scandal about her sacrificing chickens. You know, so it's a really nasty business to be in, and you're asked to do a lot of bad things. So I think that using these symbols, you're kind of showing people you're asked to use these symbols. Iggy Azalea, I'm sure, didn't just find that Ankh necklace and want to wear that just because that was a part of her style. Whose style is that really a part of? Unless you're like really into like ancient Egypt and the culture, which there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's, you know, really fascinating too, but it's really unlikely that these women are just like deciding this on their own, you know, to wear certain things or dress a certain way on their own, 100% on their own. So here's Rihanna with her Ankh necklace. Then you have Jada Pinkett Smith with her Ankh necklace. Whoop, get back to that. Ankh necklace. And we're going to go up to someone else here. We're going to look at, I think I already showed you that one. Here's Rihanna, lots of ankhs around her neck. And then here's another ankh necklace. And these are all different necklaces, by the way. You can tell that. So they have multiple, you know, necklaces that look like this. So weird. Katy Perry with her Egyptian themed outfit. She has an ankh on it. And then we're going to go up to... I'm actually going to start showing you. I think that's all the ankhs that I wanted to show you. But the point of that was just to show you that there's a recurring kind of theme. Sorry, Q has made another drop. I'll look at that later. So, there's this reoccurring theme here and this initiative process where, you know, it starts out small, like Iggy just wearing an ankh necklace, but if you look at someone like Rihanna, it's everywhere. It's like, okay, you have her there, you have her in, you have her, where's this other one of her? Right here. Here she is with a tattoo of the bust of Nefertiti. So, you know, Nefertiti was a queen of ancient Egypt. Then you have her with the Egyptian goddess Isis tattoo. That's a big tattoo. That's a big thing to commit to on the front of your body, under your chest. I mean, do you really think, I mean, does she really love ancient Egyptian culture that much? Think about this, okay? You have Nicki Minaj obsessed with Egyptian culture, ancient Egyptian culture. You have Rihanna obsessed with it. Katy Perry's obsessed with it. They all use it in their everyday performance, you know, in their performances and also just in what they wear every day. You have, what's her name? Cardi B now getting into it. So think about this. Think of 5 women that you know. Out of all of those 5 women, Which one do you know that is obsessed with ancient Egyptian culture to where she has like tattoos of it or wears an ankh every day or just every once in a while even. It's just too much of a coincidence for this to be, you know, happening. It to me it shows that's enough evidence right there that would show you that that this is a part of this Freemason symbolry. So this image right here, top right hand corner, at the very top right hand corner, that image is, of course, the all-seeing eye, or in Egyptian culture, the Eye of Horus, inside of a pyramid. And then you have the body of the goddess Isis there on the outside. And that looks very similar to her tattoo here with the wings. But I want to show you something else. So we're going to look at that again. So look at that image there on the top right-hand corner. And then we're going to go down to Beyonce here. And then look at her shirt right above the crest. You have the outstretched wings. You have the Eye of Horus inside of the pyramid. That's Freemason symbolry, okay? So I'm going to go back up to that. All right, it's the same thing. So, I mean, that's some proof right there. And then you also have the same reoccurring theme of that bust of Nefertiti. The bust of Nefertiti, you can actually see it here. Like this is Barbra Streisand. Barbra Streisand dressed like an Egyptian queen, or some would say like Nefertiti. So there's an obsession in Hollywood. And then we also have, I'm going to show you this here. So Beyonce wearing a headdress. And then on the back of her cape, this is the same outfit. You have the bust of Nefertiti on the back of her cape. And then you have those rays of light coming down right under her name, Beyonce, right there. You have the rays of light coming down there, okay? So, like I said, it's not a coincidence that all of these women, are into this. This is one image I wanted to show you. This is just a fashion show where, they're using Egyptian, ancient Egyptian culture and fashion. And then you have this little boy here wearing it on his clothes. This is some kind of fashion show for children. And I think that's Karl Lagerfeld right there with him, I think. And then here's Rihanna again. And she's dressed like Nefertiti. I mean, how is it that all of them could be obsessed with Nefertiti? Or even with, the other ancient Egyptian queens like Cleopatra, or goddesses like Isis. And these wings right here remind me of the goddess Isis. And of course, Nikki is standing like right up, right in front of that, which is interesting. Something I want to just say really quickly about the Ankh. Now, this is just some information about it. This is the Ankh is an ancient Egyptian symbol which symbolizes the many aspects of life, including physical life, eternal life, and mortality, death, and reincarnation. The symbol is a teardrop-shaped hoop with a cross connected directly below it. It represents, to represent the sun making its path upward and over the horizon. So it's, it's got a lot of different meanings. What it means to each of these women could be totally different things at any given time. So one day it could mean one thing to them, the next day it could mean something else. But the Ankh, you see right here, this was in a movie. This was in the movie Death Becomes Her with Goldie Hawn and Meryl Streep. So you can see little, images like that all throughout culture, our culture. I do want to bring something up right now with I want to bring this back up where you can see her shirt where it has the bust of Nefertiti. Diagonal from that is the B. And with the B, that is another symbol in Freemasonry. You guys know Beyonce is like obsessed with beehives and bees, and I mean, that's another, right there, that's another example of, you know, using Freemasonry symbolism, and it's actually like right there next to the ancient Egyptian stuff. So this is all wrapped in together. So I know she calls her fans, I think it's the, is it the Bayhive or the Beehive? I don't know. I thought it was the Beehive, but I think it's the Bayhive. So that's another symbol used. And I'm actually going to go out and grab this screenshot really quick and just read this to you. So in Freemasonry, the beehive is, it says here about this, bees have long been a symbol of hard work and teamwork. To the Mason, the beehive is especially fascinating because the honeycomb is a perfect geometric structure. So I just wanted to show you that really quick. Then we have, I'm just going to start showing you guys pictures now, all the pictures. So anything that I missed here, I'm going to grab and show you guys. Madonna's jacket here from the 80s. This is a pretty well-known image. You know, the pyramid with the all-seeing eye, or the Eye of Horus. And this is, of course, Madonna. Some of this is, you can see like the Sphinx there with the glowing eyes. So some of her ancient Egyptian stuff that she uses. And gold. Gold is used in a lot of this stuff. And gold is an element that they're obsessed with, and there's a lot of different things, but a lot of it has to do with illumination. So this is the temple that was on Jeffrey Epstein's infamous island. It's not there anymore. It got knocked down. He wanted to kind of, I guess, renovate. I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, this is his temple. Was his temple, rather. So, you know, I do try to do some QAnon decoding on my own, but I found this really interesting. Wanted to add it to this video because of the ancient Egyptian obsession that they have. So, yeah, this is just an interesting picture. You can see the golden dome there, the outside of the temple with that particular color blue, and I mean, you know, it's just so strange why people of that level, you know, these elitists, why they're obsessed with ancient Egyptian culture. But I think we're all learning now that it's all tied in with Freemasonry, and it just is basically, Freemasonry is kind of borrowing from ancient Egyptian culture. Katy Perry, she is really into it too. What a funny coincidence. Isn't that such a coincidence? Here she is with her makeup. She's got the Eye of Horus drawn on her face. And I'm going to be doing a video on another singer that's kind of up and coming. Her name is Lauren Daigle. Lauren Daigle is a Christian singer. She branded herself originally as a Christian singer. And now she's kind of moving into pop culture mainstream. Katy Perry did the same thing. She was a Christian singer. And she, you know, her family, she supposedly comes from a family of devout Christians. I don't know if that's the case anymore. Maybe it is, and I hope so. But everything that Katy Perry exhibits now is very evil, and it's just disgusting to me. So to see that change, you know, going from a Christian artist to what she is now. I truly hope that Lauren Daigle does not do that, but there are a lot of people, and I really hesitated to even drag Daigle's name into this whole thing. I didn't want to do that at first because I didn't know what was going on with her. I thought maybe, you know, she's just going through some growing pains and is just trying to navigate through the music industry, and I really don't feel that way anymore now. I really feel like she's kind of getting drawn into this world, unfortunately. So Katy Perry, with all of her, you know, all of her performances and her clothing and all this, is just, you know, another artist that's obsessed with this culture. Here she is with some more Egyptian clothing and hair. And then, of course, her dancers are dressed the same way. And I do want to point out Beyonce's headdress here. So it looks like, I think I might have already brought this up, but looks like the bust of Nefertiti. And here she is in front of the pyramids. And here she is again. I'm not sure if this is a music video or if this was, I don't know what this was. I don't really, obviously I don't listen to her music, so I don't know. And then one more thing I want to bring up. This symbol here is the Shriner's symbol. It's a Shriner's Freemasonry symbol. And that kind of like crescent there. I want to kind of go back to my Y-head images here, because with that crescent symbol, that kind of comes into play with a lot of these things here. So I wanted to bring that up. I don't know if, I feel like there's a correlation between that and some of the images that you see here. So with the necklaces, especially, yeah, these necklaces here. And then I don't see it here, but there was another image of, nope, I don't see it here. I'll have to bring it up in another one. Oh, there's another one. That kind of dagger looking thing right there. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up to you guys, that this symbol right here for the Freemason, that ancient Egyptian bust there, and or head, face, and then that kind of crescent shape, that crescent symbol, that's used in a lot of jewelry. And actually I did see Lauren Daigle wearing a necklace with that crescent shape and a star. So I wanted to bring that up. So that's the end of my ancient Egyptian video, and I will be doing another one really soon. I'm going to be doing one on satanic culture that's going mainstream right now. So that'll be my next one. So thank you so much, and if you like it, please like, and if you like the content, please subscribe.